Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing very well. Today, we have a very wonderful guest with us today, and we will be discussing about some really cool stuffs about cybersecurity and its implementations in today's world. We have one of our very pronounced and very famous guests with us today who will be discussing on the future of cybersecurity with us, Dr. Ram Kumar G. Dr. Ram, very welcome to you on the podcast today.
Thank
Let's
you,
have,
Anas.
thank you so much. Let's have a brief idea about Dr. Ram. He is very restricted that do not give a very fancy introductions to me, but we are very sorry for Dr. Ram. We are going to give you some wise words. That's what we really do. Dr. Ram is a dynamic professional. I mean, he has specialization in cybersecurity, cloud solutions, digital transformations, with expertise in IT and strategies. I must say, the risk management, governance are the key components he has brought into the society, which is Excel, technology, the business goals. He has also proven a very good record in driving innovations, enhanced technologies, and operational efficiencies, delivering an impactful solutions across the globe, entire industries of cybersecurity. I mean, if you talk about his known strategies, I mean, he really focused on collaborative approach. That's what one of this we are having him today. Thanks to InfoSectrain as well, bringing us together to have a discussion on this. He's really passionate and empowering personality. He really believes in giving new thoughts to the new generations and the new people to thrive them and rapidly evolve the digital landscape actually we are having. That's about him altogether. Do you have anything to say to us, sir? Welcome to you here.
Thank you, Anas, for having me here. Extremely privileged to be on this podcast show. It's always delightful experience for me to get onto a show like this and share whatever insights I have. I'm looking forward to a rocking session today, and I'm very much thankful to InfoSec Train for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. We're very warm to have you here. To all our audience, what we are actually discussing today is really shaping about the future of cybersecurity. But in depth, let's have a brief idea what we are going to have a discussions. Before we start, I would like to thank InfoSectrain to give us an opportunity to sit together, have a discussion on this really important topic, which really are going to help a lot of people who is going to watch this podcast with us. So first, we will be talking about the cybersecurity domains beyond ethical hacking and penetration testing, which is really we talk about actually in day-to-day life. Also, we talk about the importance of uh, credential buildings and the overview of the certifications these days. Actually, we are looking in market, we are a lot of having certifications, a lot of learnings are actually present. We'll understand what is actually important, how really help us in terms of learning and growth. Along with that, that one thing really important to all of us, we will also discuss that is planning your career journey. Why? Because that's how we'll get to know from Dr. Ram as well. He has also has a very long career in a very diverse form. That is also very important, that how actually we also reform and we can do those things in a very wonderful form. With this, when we had a good career, it also comes with a lot of new things, that is we call networking. If we have a great networking with all the people, it really plays an important role to our life to grow, as well as to find a new way in terms of in making the impact in society. So that is why we usually say that your network is your net worth. That's how we'll discuss about that as well. So without ado, let's start. We'll give the first question to you that really comes into my mind also, to ask you, Mr. Ram, that what are some underrated cybersecurity domains or the professional should explore about beyond the ethical hacking or penetration testing? What do you really think? Because there's always a belief that a specific thing is required to be done, or a conventional thing is required to be done. That's how you really look that part.
Yeah, yeah. With due respect to domains like ethical hacking, pen testing, vulnerability assessment, these are all very critical, functions within cybersecurity. But just to dispel some myths, cybersecurity careers are very rich and diverse. It's very much varied in its scope and the actual work. So
Okay.
we need to think beyond VAPT and red teaming, right? They are important though. So beyond that, I would say can explore cloud security, SOC, Security Operations Center, security
Okay.
architecture, security engineering. Within
Okay.
architecture engineering, you go into domains like identity access management, data loss prevention, all right? You do have digital forensics, cyber threat intelligence, threat hunting. You have my own domain where I built most of my career, governance, risk, and compliance. The compliance is very much evolving today. You have a lot more no roles coming up, and then you can do bug bounty as well.
Okay.
That's also very rewarding profile. When you're starting your career, you can do it out of curiosity and hone your skills. Also make good money, if not money, at least the Hall of Fame listings. And of course, you can get into DevSecOps, right?
Okay.
Uh, get into risk management,
Hmm.
and domain-wise, you can even diversify into IoT, right? IoT,
As a device.
Internet of Physical Things, when that
Yeah.
is also a big way. Then you do have operational technology security, OT security, and these are all the domains, which not everyone is aware of, right? People may have a very hazy or a very superficial understanding of these, but they are very rewarding career paths in themselves.
Sounds interesting. I mean, it's a brief understanding that not only specific to the core, actually, we talk about the cybersecurity. We have a very diverse universe where we actually can plan this new things. I mean,
Yep.
when we're talking about the diversifying things, Dr. Ram, uh, can you tell me? I mean, you just have any idea to us that what are the new career opportunities open for us? That is fine. You mentioned about the DevSecOps, you mentioned about the bounty, you mentioned about the other, but what are the new? I mean, upcoming. We also talk about the AI and machine learning as a upcoming
Yeah,
trends
yeah,
these days.
yeah, yeah,
So how
yeah.
we see that?
AI.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
So how we see this new
So
career opportunities?
definitely, AI is a in thing today. AI is fraught with risks as well as opportunities. So, as a cybersecurity professional, we are very much interested in how to make it more secure, right? Security of AI and AI for security. These two are two different terms. So definitely, you can leverage AI for securing our infrastructure and data. So that's a new in thing. You do have a risk management framework for AI from NIST. You have MITRE also has brought out AI, Atlas. You do have different frameworks and governance principles and frameworks that are emerging for AI. So that's definitely a new domain, a sunrise domain for cybersecurity. You do have quantum computing. That's groundbreaking research is going on. So
Hmm.
that also we can definitely explore and see how we can leverage it for securing, right? Beyond this, let me go one step down. For folks who are non-technical, I see a lot of people from non-technical background. They are very much keen to get onto the cybersecurity bandwagon. They can play
Right.
on their strengths, right? So somebody is a good writer, has a flair for writing. They can
Hmm.
pick up technical writing, cybersecurity writing on
Okay.
magazine, journals, blogs, websites. They can do ghost writing for senior cybersecurity leaders, right? So these are all professions which is unusual. You can do people. You see the market landscape for
Yeah.
cybersecurity. You have so many products. I heard there are 70,000 products on cybersecurity, a multitude of vendors across the globe. So who's going to sell all these things? You need sales and marketing professionals, right? So you need to have a very strong understanding of the product or the service you are selling as well as that of your competitors. So definitely, if you are making it big in sales, if you have a flair for sales, definitely this domain is going to be a very rewarding opportunity. And of course, since you people in sales and marketing bring in revenue, they become the blue-eyed boys and girls of the management, especially the CEO. So that way,
That's
it's a very rewarding career. And folks who are strong in their functional domain, say somebody who's a banker, and they have some understanding of cybersecurity, they can become a business analyst, bridging the gap between the business and the technical domain, help
Mhm.
products which make things very secure. Their product knowledge, functional knowledge, and process knowledge can actually help in building secure products that
That's
works for business. Beyond this, project managers, people who manage projects and deliver projects, though they may not necessarily be cybersecurity professionals. However, They need to pick up skills to become successful. Beyond this, of course, awareness trainer again. It is not a very long career it will offer, but at least in the short term, you can use that as a stepping stone towards your career goals. For a short while or a mid-term basis, you can pick up awareness training as a career, but you
Okay.
need to go beyond that. And one last thing before I wrap up my talk on this particular topic, those folks who are interested in teaching or research, a lot of positions available in leading academic institutions. So those who don't like the conventional corporate job, they would love to mentor and teach younger generations. They can take up teaching, they become an assistant professor or associate professor, provided they have the right credentials for the academic world, and with the knowledge of cybersecurity they can pursue teaching positions, or somebody who's inclined into research on cybersecurity, they can join universities and deliver research, right, groundbreaking research. So I think that gave a good roundup of different areas or unconventional careers are available for those interested.
I mean, that's very interesting. Yeah, you just showed an entire universe to the people who are actually looking a future and a job
Yeah,
for career opportunities in field of cybersecurity or other domains. But that's very fine. Let's say you talk about interesting things to me. I really understand about that. But one thing comes to my mind: if somebody is coming from a non-traditional cybersecurity domain and want to make a huge impact. I mean, I will not take the name, but what could be the best example I will bring if I have to sitting just front of me only the Dr. Ram itself. So who really
uh,
wanted to make an impact. So just wanted to know that what are the real world example. If I have to give an example, I'll Dr. Ram. But along with that, what
no, no, no. I don't make a big impact. I am still learning. I still have a long way to go. But having said that, I come from a non-tech background. My graduation was in commerce. Then I moved on to computers. I did my master's in computer applications. In fact, I got an MBA specialized in human resources.
okay.
Then I did all my certifications that is required in cybersecurity, privacy, cyber resilience. Those days it was called BCPDR, right? Business Continuity Planning,
Mhm.
DR. Then I also specialized in data privacy the last 10 years. And later, much later, say in 2012, I enrolled for a PhD in information security governance and I completed my PhD. So I'm a live example, but it doesn't mean I've achieved anything big or great. But I'll tell you, people who are very, very successful from, in terms of making a huge impact in the industry, well-known people who make a lot of money, a lot of connections, they make a huge impact. They are the a special breed of security leaders called conference producers, cybersecurity conference or event
Right.
producers. The amount of contact they have in the industry and with the OEMs, security vendors, is
Yes.
amazing, is humongous. They leverage those contacts and they are very good at organizing well curated conferences and events, and they make a huge living out of it in terms of the returns they get. Right, one
Exactly.
conference they organize, the amount of buzz it makes, and they make it successful. They get very good rewards, financially
Mhm.
rewarding career. Now, beyond financial rewards, it's more of getting all the like-minded stakeholders together.
Okay.
OEMs who are sponsors, then you bring in the speakers, and then all the attendees, and then give a wholesome experience for everyone. So that's very important. Give an opportunity for folks to come together, network, learn, and have good time. Right. So that is one domain I would always give an example if you are asking me who make it big from non-security background.
Okay. That's very fine. I mean, these days we're having a buzz of these privacy law, privacy acts in society, in market, in government as well. Back in time, you guys have explored a lot about these industries, which was not in the limelight, but you guys made it really impactful to all of us, and it's really impactful and new for all the young generations and young people looking for the future and career in this. I mean, you just said a very nice, but Dr. Ram wanted to know that one piece of advice you wish that every cybersecurity professional knew in the early career? I mean, you have come with a lot of expertise and experience. But one thing you wanted to add for that, what will be that?
See, never get into that comfort zone.
Okay.
Always keep learning, always be two steps ahead, right? At least be one step ahead, if not two steps ahead, because the competition is intense and your skills also have to be very sharp if you have to thrive in the market, competitive market. And as you grow older, as you grow higher in your career, you may not be hands-on technically. We may have to move on to managerial roles
Hmm.
and much higher into leadership roles. So then you become all the more vulnerable. Not anything against your capabilities and your expertise, but you become expensive for the companies that you work for. So
Yeah.
it's very easy for the management to look at you as a liability. You can be replaced with more young and enthusiastic youngsters who
Mhm.
are much more technically hands-on. So you should
Okay.
always have an answer. What next? What if I don't have a job today? What are the skill that I can leverage to get on to my next assignment? Next assignment could be again continuing in corporate, or you want to start something on your own as a freelance consultant or as a startup founder. Do you have the answer? And today, in era of Gen AI, AI is going to replace a lot of jobs, right?
Mhm.
Already industry leaders are sounding out that coding job will get extended in a few years because
Mhm.
AI is going to do all the coding. If you can leverage how to use a prompt engineering to get the right code that you want, right? Then you really don't need to learn coding and pick it up as a career. So we don't know what will be the impact on cybersecurity professionals. So what
Mhm.
I'm trying to tell you is AI is going to compete with humans, and that
Okay.
means you need to be one step ahead, one more step ahead than AI, or rather, how to leverage AI. So always be on the lookout and keep learning. That's
Oh,
my strong advice I would give everyone. It
that's really
applies to me
amazing.
as well.
Of course, this applies to me as well, and I will be surely doing that. I mean, this is one thing I'll take away with me today. Also, one thing that comes to our mind when we talk about certifications, I mean, we really heard about everywhere people are talking about certifications, their importance. Some are saying it's really important, some are saying it is important to grow your career. So, talking about the second segment, we were very keen to understand that importance of credential building. So, why are these certifications so critical for early professionals in cybersecurity, early career when we're going to start? Is it really makes a really impact on that, or it just a buzz we are actually listening around?
See, certifications are important only to the extent that is going to help you in securing your job, right?
Okay.
Because today it's a very competitive world. And when you see in LinkedIn or any of the job portals, when they release the job description, they put out the ad. In a matter of few hours, you get 200, 300, 500 profiles. People have already applied. So there is intense competition for every role. So,
Okay.
humanly, it's not possible for a recruiter or the hiring manager to take a look at all the 500, 600 CVs that they
Mhm.
get, right? So, the only way they are going to do in the selection is filtering through keywords. So, when
Okay.
they see these keywords using all these certification, 3 letter, 4 letter acronyms,
Mhm.
that's going to serve as a filtering criteria. And with the hope and confidence, somebody who has pursued the certification will have the necessary knowledge, skills, and expertise in that
Mhm.
particular domain. Only to that extent it helps. Of course,
Yeah.
beyond that, of course, you take a quick peek into a different domain. Suppose you are a SOC analyst and you want to move to cloud.
Okay.
It's not easy to move without a certification, no matter how much training you do. A certification always gives you that confidence, and you get validated by a certification body, and you will be at par with certified professionals. So all said and done, you do have a set of hiring managers who don't care two hoots about certification. They say that the candidate can do the work, can deliver on ground. Do they have the hands-on skills? That what matter. That's a real
Okay.
thing. But at the same time, there should be a fine balance between credential building and hands-on skills. Both have to go hand in hand. So that's my take on this particular domain area, where certifications are very important when you start your career
Mhm.
and when you build your career as an early professional. But you cannot do it all lifelong unless you have a requirement from your employer that you need to be certified. Otherwise, it's not required.
Right. I mean, if I'll say a very simple example, I'm working in a domain which is relatively in cybersecurity or in any X5 domain. And if I am getting certified myself in some any other domain, I don't think I'm going to support the business to grow. And I think there I will get an impact from my the employer, or if I'm seeking for a new job. So it relates to my career's resonance as well. That's really
Definitely.
nice.
See, the impact certification makes is one is makes you stand out from the crowd. Second,
Okay.
you command a better salary between a certified and a non-certified candidate.
Okay.
Third is the message that gives across to the potential hiring manager is you're putting that effort to upskill yourself, sit for an exam, get cleared. Fourth is you become part of the elite club. Suppose you are a CISSP or a CISM and you go to a networking event or industry conference, and when you moment you say you are a CISSP certified, then people the level of conversation will be in a different level. Even in an interview, moment people see you are a OSCP,
Hmm.
you are a CEH or a little higher like CISA or a CISSP, the level of conversation will be different. They won't ask you basic questions, and your confidence will be higher. Nobody is going to asking you define this, because they're going to ask more qualitative questions on your experience, your project skills, what did you deliver. Those kind of questions is going they're going to take you for granted that you know these things. If you
Correct.
don't have certifications, then the ball game is very different, because they don't know where to start. They're going to poke you around with the basic questions. In fact, Fortinet, or I'm not very sure who did that survey. Every year they do a survey, and they the last survey they had mentioned 81% of the hiring managers look for candidates with certificates,
Hmm.
because that's the reality today. But having said that, certification alone is not the end of be all and end all. Beyond a point, it doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
Because you already built a career, you already have some mass, your experience, and you can't pursue certification just for the sake of it. So my other advice is don't become a certification junkie. Like you
Okay.
don't and do certification just for the sake of it. Today you have lot many portals that are offering all kind of certifications. Don't get involved in everything just to add numbers, right?
Hmm.
It is not a numbers game. Be very focused. Suppose you are building your career in SOC. Okay? Do only certifications related to SOC. You are in identity and access management. You are in a particular product. Be the best in that. Certify
Hmm.
yourself with a certification. Today, don't do something on privacy. Tomorrow, do something on DevSecOps. The day after, something on SOC. That is not going to take you anywhere. But somebody who's seeing your CV, reviewing your CV, they see you are there everywhere. It doesn't give them the confidence. What is your core competence? You say
Exactly.
I'm a identity access management specialist, but you have done everything. It's good to know everything, but don't spend too much money and effort in certifying in everything that comes your way. Be very focused. From
Hmm.
IAM, you want to move into data privacy, do all the relevant certification and move on. But don't be everywhere. That's my point. Don't become a certification junkie.
Correct.
Correct?
We'll take this word. This is the new word I'll be using for myself and for my learning team as a certificate junkie. That's nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
If we not make people certificate junkie, what we can do then, Dr. Ram? I mean, what are the top certifications you recommend? How they differ in terms of focus and careers and impacts? I mean, how you will define
Okay.
that?
So way back in 2006, when I did my CH, I felt felt like I'm in the top of the world. But today, CH is a basic certification. It has come
Oh,
to that level. Today, engineering students in their third or fourth year they are doing their final semester they are doing. So
yeah.
ideally, CH is a good stepping stone, at least to if you at least to get a hang of the terminologies, the lingo that we use, and of course, it makes you look different when your CV is circulated. It gives you that you put in that effort to certify. CH
Mm,
is definitely a entry level certification, and importantly, understand the difference between different domains within cybersecurity, like blue team or red team, or you want to be in core information security, right? So Security Plus from CompTIA, Network Plus, these are all very basic certifications that any entry level person can pursue. People who don't have any clue about cybersecurity but they are interested, they can pursue free certification from ISC Square. You
Okay.
must have heard about CC, right?
CC.
Certified
Correct.
Cybersecurity. That's a
Cybersecurity,
free
right.
certification. Cisco Networking Academy also gives a basic certification in network security. So that's also a good way to get understanding of networks, right? IT network, how it works. So you can look at Cisco site as well. Apart from this, then you do have the certified SOC analyst from EC Council, but not necessary when you are trained. If you are trained in a particular tool, the certification doesn't matter. But as far as CSA is concerned, but other certifications will give you that confidence, because in a crowded market, as a fresher, when you approach, it's very important that you are treated at par with other candidates. For these, credentialing is very important, apart from building your self-esteem that you are at par with everyone. Got it?
That's very nice. I mean, when you just say about all these options available in market, but this one of them is CC, which I have also gone through and have taken my interest. I've learned the domains. They have different domains. That's they're very nice way they have curated the course. That's very interesting. I mean, it also
Yeah,
gives a real life example how we should really have idea about the cybersecurity itself.
yeah.
Again, but that thing comes into our mind that can someone choose the right certification without feeling overwhelmed by so much option? As you mentioned just few minutes back, that there are a lot of certifications, a lot of things that are available. Don't just go here and there, but how we can just narrow it down to just pick the right one for us, which is required as for our need.
See, the right one depends on what is your career goals, at least in the short term, and where you are in your career. For an
Yeah.
early career aspirant, early career professional, the certifications are different. For a mid career, is different. For a late career or a higher level in career journey, their certification goals will be different. So it depends on where you are, and for that, it's very important you have at least a couple of mentors with whom
Okay.
you can actually consult and get some guidance. You can use them as a sounding board. You can say, this is what my goal is, I want to pursue this, what is your take on it? But at the end of the day, whatever they say, it is up to you to decide and implement, right? You cannot blindly believe their words. It's for you to evaluate what they are saying is right or wrong. They can give you pointers, but it's up to you to decide whether you want to do it or not. So having mentors will definitely help you. Don't blindly copy your best friend is doing, my best buddy is doing, so I want to do. Even everyone's career path is different. Just
Hmm.
because you replicate the same, you may not achieve the same success. So you have to have that aptitude, interest, passion, to pursue whatever domain that you are in. Don't copy blindly just because your best friend is doing or your cousin is doing. Always think independently, see what's best for you. Some
Hmm.
people are really really good at at technical aspects, some aren't. Some are very good at non-technical areas, right? So don't try to imitate others. It may
Hmm.
work for them, it may not necessarily work for you, right? So
That's
that's where
absolutely.
mentors come in.
There's a very fine thing, but I will also take a key word from this, that follow your passion, don't follow your friends.
No, no, follow friends. Friends is always good to do things together, but don't blindly copy them. That's what
Yeah.
my
In
opinion
terms of
is.
career opportunities, it should be very clear whether it is going to
Yeah,
support you or not. But we
yeah,
can
yeah.
follow, yeah, but we can follow them if they are going for a treat or party, but not for the career opportunities.
Yeah, yeah. So, like you say, no, for a movie you can go with your friends, whatever is popular you do, okay. But for if you have a toothache, you don't consult your friends, right? If you have to
Yeah,
do your taxes, you don't consult your friends. You have to go to professionals, right?
correct.
You go to a dentist, you go to an auditor. The same analogy I'm giving for your career goals. Don't check with your friends. Casually, you can check what is what and stuff, but check with somebody who has already done that, who is trustworthy, whom you look up to, and that person could become and if not a role model, at least use them as a mentor, and that
Mm,
person will give you a good perspective on what you can pursue or not, right?
that's
But
very
you have to decide, because they don't know your story. You may only tell part of it, and they may not understand your entire intent or your circumstances. It's
correct.
easy for anyone to advise you, but it is up to you to decide what is right for you. Got it?
Exactly. That's absolutely fine. This is very, 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 I mean, this is a very general knowledge which people should
Yeah,
at least keep in their mind while they're growing. And this general knowledge is really going to be the foundation of the growth which people are actually looking in their career growth and journey. With this, we are, I think, at our third segment, which was actually, you just gave it a gate to enter the third segment, that planning your career journey, or how you can plan your ongoing learnings. And that very finely you explain that it is not always important that you are taking information from the right scope. It is always recommended to take it from someone who is expert and master in that.
yeah,
Also, one thing with this that comes into our mind, that in the field with fast paced as cybersecurity, I see as a fast paced, reason being why, because every day we are evolving, every day new technologies are coming, the
correct.
advancement, the awareness people are actually bringing is really huge. So how can
Yeah,
professional plan a long term career path now? As you've mentioned, that back in time CEH was a very renowned certifications. Today a college student is also looking for the same thing. So
yeah.
while somebody is planning a cybersecurity journey today, it was 25, how he or she should plan a long-term career growth.
Yeah, yeah. Now, one thing to clarify, CH even today is a very good certification. I'm not trying to downplay. The point I was trying to make it was today even college student, when they graduate, they are supposed to have the skills. The skill set, credential building has become so important. The
Hmm.
market expectations, industry expectations have increased a lot. That CH has become an entry level certification. That's what I was trying to
Oh,
tell.
that's fine.
Even in CH, you have very specialized certifications which may not be ideal for entry level aspirants, right?
Mhm.
Okay, with that, long term career, of course, today nobody plans to retire at 60. That those days are gone, right? The conventional retirement age of working till
But
60 is gone.
but I must add this, but Dr. Ram, people are not looking for getting retired at 60, but they want work from home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You find
No,
that.
today, if you continue, look at in your own circle, Anas, how many people you know in your circle, professional circle,
Yeah,
who are beyond 47, 48 in cybersecurity or in IT, they are
that's true.
doing well, right? Because beyond a point, they become expensive. They are not coachable. They are not up to mark in terms of knowledge, or simply they cannot be afforded by their respective employers. They've been
Exactly.
pushed out, right? And you see in LinkedIn, you see a lot of people who are freelancers, who are startup founders, who are yoga gurus, wellness
Hmm.
coach, all those people beyond 40s. They go on bullet rides and bike rides in Ladakh. So all
That's
these things are the realities of today's evolving, you know,
great.
evolving scenario in our careers. So conventional career of 60 is gone. So at least
Right.
you can plan for the next 10 years, right? And you keep reviewing your plans as you get closer to the timeline, and
Mhm.
reinvent yourself. So importantly, as I said, you always have to have one step ahead, if not two, from the market. So you should be as valuable as you are
Mhm.
today all the time. So that means you have to keep an eye on the horizon, keep
Mhm.
learning. So
Mhm.
today AI and quantum computing are the in thing. So how many of us have actually taken the effort to learn, build some expertise in that area relevant to cybersecurity? So
Okay.
that is very important, building that expertise, horizon scanning, and then keeping ourselves relevant to the times and the technology, change in pace in technology, change in your business models, right? Change in compliance and regulatory requirements. All of this is very important. And having a very strong network in the industry circles is very important. It
Hmm.
is not just you know everyone, but rather everyone should know you, who you are, right?
Mhm.
It may not be, you not be a big celebrity or anything, or a big achiever, but at least they should know there is somebody who's got this expertise, this skill set. He or she is there and all. industry events, being active either as a volunteer or as an attendee, or if not, a speaker, right? So you should come out of your shell, and when you get that expertise levels, you should start sharing your knowledge and expertise by way of speaking opportunities. That
Mhm.
way you build a personal brand, right? And also it will help you,
Okay.
and you have to create an identity for yourself with your expertise, and your you can write some blogs, write articles in
Mm.
LinkedIn or any specific blogs or online journals, right? And you have to leverage your expertise by mentoring others, youngsters, as you grow higher. So these are all the building blocks, and you go in a long term that you can actually plan and then be current with the times. Today, AI and quantum computing is there. 5 years down the line, we don't know what it is, right? Five
True.
years back, it was something else. 10 years back, big data, Hadoop was such a big name. I'm sure
Mm.
must be remember.
That's very true.
Then cloud, especially after COVID, everywhere it was cloud. So every
Cloud.
few years you have new technology development. So you need to be current with that. So it's very important that you build that perspective in your mind that you have to be on the top of things. It is for folks who don't like to open a book after their college. Cybersecurity is not the domain. You have to be, up to date. That means a lot of active learning is important, and passive learning should be a way of life.
Oh, that's very. Again, I'll take this very, very nice keyword you mentioned, active learning, and the passive learning you mentioned about it. This is very nice. That's very fine. We got to know that it is important. We also got to know that it really making an impact to the society. It is going to impact the entire career, the opportunities, and the industry as well. Now, if we know this is all going to happen, what strategies are in your mind to stay updated with the latest trend without feeling overwhelmed about this, the current scenario, which is actually we are looking for?
Okay, so without unduly worrying about current scenario, I would always suggest be in the in the market, understand what's going on. As I said in an earlier answer, passive learning. That means you don't have to necessarily sign up for a course, go to an institute, get a degree or a diploma. That's a different. That's a active learning. So passive learning is very important in the sense you become part of WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups which are dedicated towards knowledge sharing in cybersecurity, data
Hmm.
privacy, and related domains. Every day you read some blogs, at least at a high level. If you go and meet somebody, say in an industry event, in a networking session, somebody is asking you some question. If you can have a meaningful conversation for at least 5 minutes on any topic, that is going to give you a huge leg up to you in terms of whoever is listening to you will you will come across, they will at least see you as someone who's well read, who's well spoken, the guy knows what he's talking about, and it will be delight for them to know and talk to you and learn from you. That's how you build a name for yourself. Small things, you go there and hang around just for having good time and selfies, that's not going to help. So I'm not telling you have to be very overbearing and go and expose your knowledge. But somebody is coming and striking a conversation. You never know, that person could be your hiring manager in future, or somebody could they could refer you. I found this guy. Anas is amazing guy. He knows stuff. We will
Hmm.
look at him for our next role. So these kind of small things are very important. So that means passive learning. Every day learn about what is going on in the industry, what are the new trends, and that would give you that exposure that you are actually in the clue of things, you are on the top of things, and that will help you project that project that image that you are actually a person of value. You know what you are talking about, and if need be, tomorrow they are calling you for an interview, you will of course prepare very well in depth, right? And
Exactly.
as you also grow higher in your career, as I said, the more you become a manager, you will lose touch with the technology, you won't be hands on. As a manager, there's a proverb also, the saying in the corporate circle, you become more of a politician when you become a manager. You do only politics. So, I mean, it's a very derogatory way though. But point is, in a career that is T-shaped, when you start your career, like in the English letter T alphabet,
Mm.
you will have a mile deep expertise and inch wide exposure. But as you grow higher and higher, it will become the opposite, right? You will have a mile wide exposure. You become a generalist from a specialist, and you will have an inch deep expertise. That's fine.
Yeah.
That courage you should have to move on. Otherwise, how long can companies? You may be a great SOC analyst, you may be a senior analyst, you may be a SOC engineer, you
Mhm.
may be a SOC architect, but how long can they sustain you? Beyond a point, they cannot give you the salary. A large company can give you 40 lakhs salary as an architect, 60 lakhs as an architect. Beyond a point, they'll say, boss, please move to managerial grade. And you, for all the love for your SOC tools, I'm just taking an example, nothing against SOC.
Mhm.
There are people who really do well. But what I'm telling you is it's good to start, but not to stay. It's bad to stay for too long. So you have to move on, reinvent with the times, and move on to managerial and leadership roles. Otherwise, you get stagnated because it's very easy to, one truth I'm trying to tell you is it's very easy to replace technical people, right?
Okay.
If not a SOC analyst, you can fire and get another SOC analyst. If a SOC analyst is too expensive for the company or not up to date with the latest technology or tooling or has attitude issues, they can easily replace. Whereas a very good manager, it's not easy. They'll not think, of course, in a recessionary time, nothing matters. End of the day, in a recession time, it doesn't matter who you are. Everyone is expendable, right?
That's
But
that's
point
right.
is, like here while the sun shines, don't get stuck in the comfort zone, right? Again, another crude analogy. You may be a great mechanic. You can dismantle the bike and fix it apart. I mean, fix it again together, even in
Mhm.
your sleep, right? But how far you can go, right? So with due respect to the role as a mechanic or the job as a mechanic, your career will not go far, right? All life you will be doing that, and as you grow higher in the dealership or a service center, your salary will grow higher, and you cannot they cannot sustain you, right? So my point is, from a mechanic you get on to become a sales advisor or a service advisor, become the for services and sales, right? Become the general
Because
manager. That
yeah.
gives you a good career growth, right? That means a general manager of a service department may not be a hands-on mechanic anymore,
Mm.
but his heart is his or her heart is still in mechanic thing that they can pursue as a hobby. You can have a home lab. You can get into training if you want to share your knowledge, your in-depth skills, but you cannot
Absolutely.
pursue as a full-time profession in a corporate sector, right? That's the point I'm
Absolutely.
trying to tell
With this one thing really comes into my mind as you mentioned about that if you're doing things on your own, if you started planning things doing on your own, if you are looking for career growth on your own, you may can grow up to an extent, but then there is stagnant position will come for you that beyond that you will have either no idea what to do or you will be confused that whether I'm doing right or wrong, it's going to help you or not. To just bridge that problem to the next level and you get to par from the problem that you are right now facing right now, you think that you are fixed at one place, your growth is not improving, your talent is up to the mark, but still you are trying to add new trends, new technologies. I feel there's one thing really plays an important role, that is mentorship. Because if the mentorship will be given to you, I mean, how important is that mentorship in shaping successful cybersecurity career? Nobody can better than you can give me an idea. But because if somebody is constantly doing the same task on his own and somebody is doing the task under the mentorship of
you.
somebody who have been to the same path, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get a great impact on that. What's your light on that?
As I say, when one person mentors, two lives are transformed, right? So it's a learning for both the mentor and the mentee. To even realize that you need to have a mentor is a big thing, right? That you need somebody who's a third person who gives you that perspective which you may miss. So that realization itself is a big thing. So as you grow higher, you always need to have mentors, and mentors would be your sounding board, and they can give you new perspectives which you never imagined, and they can give you pointers. So they
Hmm.
can only point the path to the horse to go to the river, and they cannot make the horse to drink the water, right? But to drink the water, the horse has to take the effort to drink. So my point is, mentors are very important, and how effectively you utilize them. They may not give you solutions straight away. It is not their job as well, but they can give you pointers. They can give you perspectives, where you stand, where things are moving. So it's very important when you have very experienced mentors, uh, who are genuinely a well wisher for you, who can guide you, and that would do a whole world of good to you. Okay, excuse me.
Yeah. That is, I mean, that's interesting. That's what we are actually looking about. That people think that it is really easy. It's really fine that we are planning our things on our own, but it will not take you long. So
Yeah,
with this, yeah, you can take a break if you want, Dr. Ram. You can have a glass of water if you need. No problem on that.
yeah. Give me a second.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good.
So that's very fine. You mentioned about it. Mentorship is really plays a great role in that, and also it's not always too good to stay. It's also good to start learning new things to just upgrade yourself. That's how you will make your career more stronger and more robust to bypass the challenges coming in your day-to-day life or in the industry in terms of technology and admins. But I also say, when you talk about mentorship, once I'm done with mentorship, when I'm started developing myself, I have made myself good enough that I'm in the market, I'm doing good, I'm doing nice. But there is another layer of new advancement comes, that's called your networking. I mean, how we network with people, how we are empowering others with the same information knowledge actually we are having. Because once you start empowering others, it automatically builds more belief in people that your guidance or your learnings plays a great role in that. So just to taking key in that point, why networking considered as a secret sauce for the success in cybersecurity?
See, network is net worth. That's a term that that's a phrase that you used earlier. That is so true. Um, in my own case, networking helped me a lot throughout my career.
Okay.
Not just necessarily in terms of getting jobs. Of course, I have got my next job sometimes through networking, but you know very well, in today's terms, at least in the global liberalized era, last 30 years or so, people can only facilitate entry ticket to the interview table. They can just smooch for you, prefer your CV. It is not like the 1980s era that somebody gives a recommendation letter and you get hired. So your skills, your expertise, your attitude, your persona, that makes a difference in
True.
the interviews, right? They mentors, or I mean network, through your network you can only at best get interview call or the invite to the interview table. That's be very clear. And another important thing when it comes to jobs through networking is, in higher level roles, when people paid very well paying jobs, say for example, just a number I'm giving, it may not be necessary, somebody at 40 lakhs, 45 lakhs plus salaries, companies are very hesitant to take somebody from the open market, unknown people. They will not go with that. People can be really charming in interview. They can actually charm their way in
Hmm.
an interview session for 1 hour, even with multiple rounds. They can talk through. But what about their actual, uh, attitude? Whether they are positive minded, whether they can do the job. Beyond technical stuff, do they get along with people? Are they good at managing budgets? Are they good at even writing emails? Are they people who are you know concerns builders, or are they confrontational? All these qualities, there is no way you can check in even if you have 8 rounds of interviews, you
Hmm.
will get only one aspect of their personality. You will not be able to understand all the facets. Got it? So
I
that's
get
the
it.
reason when a senior person recommend, I mean, vouches for the candidate, saying this, I worked with this person or I know this person. You can take a look at his CV or her CV and
Hmm.
then facilitate an interview. Then they trust that voice. Okay, this person has given. Hopefully, things will be fine. And of
Hmm.
course, in interview, they use different techniques to figure out or gauge what that person is beyond technology, the core competence. Got it? So that way networking helps. Second, it expands your horizons, right? Earlier in my journey, in 2006 or 7, I signed up with LinkedIn. I used to be very narrow-minded. Okay, it looks very funny to me now. I used to connect only with cybersecurity professionals, and that too, I used to connect only with people who are in a very higher grade, not
Okay.
very junior. I myself was a junior, but
Okay.
point is, I was very keen that whom I want to associate with. Then
Hmm.
it took a while for me to understand you have to open up your mindset and expand your horizons. You can
Hmm.
connect with everyone. Today, I'm a very open networker. Almost with every other profession, I got people from different industries, different domains beyond cybersecurity. I got people who are extremely good chefs. I'm connected with them. I
Hmm.
enjoy reading their posts, right? So point is, except for the shady Bitcoin traders and all those shady characters who come, only that I don't accept. I ignore or block them.
Yeah.
Somebody who's very risky, but otherwise I'm open. So have an open mind and network. And networking doesn't mean being connected with many people. Even if you are connected with very limited people, can you really, that quality of the network helps you. So you have to, it works both ways, right? You cannot expect everyone to come to you when you are in trouble. It's like
Hmm.
saying, I'm having cash crunch, I want the banks to come and lend me loan. That doesn't work that way in reality,
Yes.
right? So you have to keep the lamp on, you have to keep oil, pouring oil. So you have to genuinely connect with people, respond to them, be respectful, and
Hmm.
follow the rules of the game without going on overboard. And you have to keep that relationship alive. So you have to greet them for birthdays. You have to like their post, whichever is appealing to you. You
Hmm.
cannot expect, okay, I have some 5,000 connections in my LinkedIn. Whatever I post, I need 500 likes. It's not going to
Uh,
work that. If you have to build 500 likes for every post, then you should be a charismatic leader, or you should have done something to everyone that everyone feels good about you. Either
hmm.
you help them, or you gave them pointers, or somebody benefited out of you, or they love your personality, right? These are some of the areas I can just quickly think of. So you works both ways. You don't like anybody's post, you don't comment on anybody's post, you don't congratulate anyone somebody achieves a milestone, but
Okay.
you want everyone to comment on you. That's not going to work. So that
Hmm.
is the online world. Beyond online, offline, you need to have a presence. That's why I'm
Okay.
telling you, it should complement your online personality, and offline personality should go on hand in hand. You cannot be like a big movie celebrity that you can be seen only in the movie screen, not in real life. That may not work in reality. So if you are very popular in LinkedIn, you have to, uh, you know, complement with your offline presence. That means you have to start attending industry conferences and events. Attend for learning. First thing is learning, then only networking. The networking is
Okay.
a byproduct.
Hmm.
80% you sit in the session, learn, and then 20% you do network, come
Hmm.
across as very friendly person. That all depends on your personality traits,
Okay.
and be genuine, not about having a fake smile or a plastic smile and
Hmm.
being nice to everyone. You have to be very genuine, form closer rapport and relationships, build that, and then be consistent. It's not that you attend two conferences and then you disappear for the rest of the year.
That's
Whatever you
true.
do, be consistent, and that builds that trust and reliability, right? And that will complement your online presence. Today I see Anas, tomorrow I come for an event, I see him, and I feel good about meeting him,
That's
right? Online people are very nice, and this thing offline they are very different. It will not go hand in hand. So
correct.
networking is very important. You need to put in that hard work, effort, and commitment, right? And of course, it's not telling you should be active every other Saturday attending events, but we can choose what is aligned with your career goals. What is that something that will help you in your journey, some learning, something that comes out of it, and be very choosy about where you attend, where you are seen, what at events you are attending, and be genuine in your interactions. It's not that, okay, I'll help you say, but the person sends a CV, you don't even respond. That looks bad. There,
That's
nobody is in a position to recommend like in the 1980s. Even if I am a vice president, I cannot recommend, okay, take somebody on the job. Then nobody is going to do that. I can only advise, if the profile suits the requirement, job requirements, they may at least uh, invite you for the interview. Got it?
right.
To that extent, you can help. So be nice and be respectful and be empathetic and be genuine in all your dealings. Your online personality and offline personality should complement each other, and that way your network will grow and people will feel good about it. Today, when I'm not boasting. When I post anything, if you look at my, most of my posts, easily 200 plus likes come. It's not just like that. It happens, right? There
Hmm.
are people who are way more powerful and more influential than me who may post and they may get. But my point is, the connect that you have should come across as genuine, and
Hmm.
that's something I did it consistently. I help people. In fact, I'm part of few industry groups and academia groups where we share on a consistent basis every day
Hmm.
some reading material or some
Okay.
PDFs on
Okay.
cybersecurity,
Right.
privacy, some industry reports. So at least for the last 8 years, I've been doing that. So that's
Hmm.
a legacy that I built on a consistent basis.
Hmm.
Except for the day when my dad died and for a few weeks when I had a eye surgery, throughout I've been consistent, whether it is a festival day or a national holiday or a Sunday or when you
Hmm.
go on vacation. I've done it, right? It's a genuine love for helping people, sharing whatever we come across. A lot of people come to me one on one for mentoring. They come, of course, I don't expect anything in return, right? We don't do anything. That's a big
Hmm.
point, sore point with my spouse has with me. Ram, you put in so much effort and nothing you get. Why are you doing this? Are you
Exactly.
getting any money? I said it's not about money. We only help people because I have a inclination to help people. So whatever possible, I'm doing. So a lot of youngsters I mentor in my spare time, and even the session that we are having. Am I getting anything out of it? Nothing, right? I mean, of course, you may be promoting in social media, but point is, have a genuine concern for people, and that will take you places, right? If
That's
you're really
absolutely.
looking for immortality, there is a saying: if you want to be sharing knowledge, is a surefire way to become immortal.
That's
So,
absolutely. That's absolutely
just
true.
kidding. Just
I mean,
kidding.
I mean, we believe that is also one thing you mentioned. I believe time is the only thing which really helps everyone to just plan things out, and bringing out someone's time is also a important wealth for anyone to just because you utilize this time to improvise yourself to learn something new. It really helps a lot. With
Yep.
that, can you give some practical tips for building strong professional networks? Well, I'll tell you why, because I'm asking. Let's say I
Yep.
myself has a personality of being introvert. So, if keeping those people also in mind, what are some practical tips you will help to people, you will want to suggest from your end that strong professional network they can build?
Okay. So you said you are an introvert, right? Initially, when I was an introvert during my growing up years, I used to be scared to meet people or speak to them, see them eye to eye. Then it
Hmm.
takes a lot of effort to become an ambivert. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not a life of the party or anything. But if I need, I can, morph myself into such a personality. But by nature, I'm an introvert. Point is, especially after COVID, when we started working remotely. Uh, how people judge others is your communication skills, how assertive you are, how effective you are, right? We all got into so much of Zoom calls and Teams
Yeah.
calls. We even have the term called Zoom fatigue, right? So much meetings. So who is very effective is the guy who talks, who the girl who talks very well, right? They may not be SMEs per se necessarily, but what I understood is you have to be extremely articulate. So that's
Yeah.
something people have to keep in mind today. You need to work with multicultural, multi-ethnic people. You cannot say, I know I can work only with my own set of people, my own comfort zone. Tomorrow, your colleague could be from Brazil, from US, from UK, from Australia, or anywhere in the country, or Japan, right? So you should know how to get along with people. So
Mhm.
that the extrovertedness you need to build on demand. You should be able to convert yourself from an introvert to a extrovert or become an ambivert, right?
Right.
And networking, again, as I said, you should go beyond. Today, at least people in my generation, of course, I do have an Insta account, but Facebook has been our mainstay. So today, what happens is people want to connect with me in Facebook also. Oh, I know Ram and LinkedIn. I keep seeing they keep browsing with Facebook, and I cannot reject. So I will accept them because as a social nicety, right? Because they want to know what am I beyond my career, right? So what am I like in my social life? They want to know. That's okay. I'm not sharing anything sensitive there. So whatever I do in my personal time with my social life, that I post. So they feel, oh Ram, you've been on a vacation, you did a road trip. So they want to know, right? So networking happens at multiple levels. If I reject them, almost like 1,000 plus people I have in my Facebook account. Okay, I'm not bragging. I've got people who got much more. The point is, half of them are from the LinkedIn guys. So I
Correct.
got friends who are not in social media at all. They'll say, Ram, LinkedIn, whatever I see, people are there doing in Insta, and whatever Insta they are putting, posting in Facebook, I don't see
Hmm.
any difference. So why should be in all these platforms, right? So that's a very different perspective to look. Some people don't like networking at all. As you said, they are introverts. They don't want to come out. They are very happy in their own cocoons. But point is, if you want to be on top of things and have a strong net worth, you
Hmm.
want to build, you have to invest in networking. And if people who are very uncomfortable talking in a public place, take efforts to build that skills. You can
Hmm.
join the local Toastmasters club in your company or outside. Build those public speaking skills so you come out of the inhibitions and shyness.
Hmm.
Then you can talk and be very articulate, right? So some effort you need to put in, and the other important aspect is if you're not comfortable initially you're not a social person, you cannot talk in a public setting or a social setting. At least get on online. You start connecting with people over a webinar like this. At least you'll have that you'll not have that fear of meeting people. All right,
Hmm.
so that's very important. Okay.
We talk one thing very important: personal branding. And in cybersecurity, as far as we believe, personal branding plays a very important role, because many times we have seen the roles in cybersecurity plays a universal role, also plays a singularity in the role, that you are whole soul responsible for the entire task or entire organization or entire presentation. Sometimes we have seen that, but not in majority of the cases. So how can a professional leverage platforms like LinkedIn, GitHubs, or we call Twitter, right now it's X, so to build the personal brands?
Hmm. So, personal branding again is a serious thing. It's a profession itself. You got very good experts who advise you. They do take it up as a profession and do consulting. I'm no expert. So, from what I can tell you is from my own experience. My point is don't be so pushy about building a personal brand. Should come naturally, should be
Mhm.
aligned with your personality. You cannot project a different personality from what you are, right?
Okay.
So you cannot project yourself as a big media celebrity like the actors, actresses, and stuff, right? So they are in a different world. So you have to be very careful also how you come across, right? In you can easily take very smart looking pictures, professional looking, sharp pictures. You can use all the filters in your phone and then post. But in reality, you look very different. It will not going to help you. So you have to be very careful because it will become a disaster. Because uh, what people see you online and offline should go together, right? So I've seen a lot of people. They look very different in person and in their appearance to make themselves look young and stuff. So that is on the way you are projecting yourself on your how you look.
Hmm.
Second thing is people write a lot of nice stories, nice gyan. Okay, how noble they are, how good they are, good-hearted they are, all of that. But everything looks very what do you call beyond a point. You keep seeing the same kind of stuff, feel good stuff. They don't
Hmm.
talk about anything that you can easily relate. They're all make believe stuff. Then again there is a credibility issue, right? You cannot believe somebody who could be so nice and so helpful. They never talk about their struggles, they never talk about their failures, they don't want to talk about the hard times they went, and they always talk about how successful I am. I got this award, that award, right? So it should be real. So real genuinity is very important.
That's
Third thing is, of course, we all love what we want to share, right? We share only what we want others to see. We don't want to share everything that happens in our lives. But point is, your personal brand again should align with your values, and be careful about stepping onto the wrong shoes with your or getting crossed with your corporate employer, right?
okay.
Because some companies are very conservative. They don't want employees to go in social media and have a huge exposure, so you have to be aligned with that. Better still remove the profile, right? Because some companies may not appreciate that. They don't
Okay.
want people to go and you know look as if they are representing their company when they do all these things online. So personal branding again, um you need to start small, start
Okay.
doing things consistently, and with a lot of genuinity. Genuineness is very important, not fake, because in 1 minute people can find out that you are not what you are actually. And today a lot of trolls have come. That's a reality. The
Okay.
more you try to project yourself as a very smart person, and somebody comes and trolls you,
Okay.
you become a public personality when you are going in the journey. As a public personality, you need to have a lot of thick skin. You
Okay.
cannot be very sensitive.
Mm.
Somebody called you something and you were upset whole day, right? LinkedIn people may not do trolling like you see in Insta and Twitter. It may not be that brutal, but there are people who can be very satirical, right? There are ways to pull you down, because not everyone is happy about somebody growing great guns. Somebody is getting popular, right? So definitely there will be people who will try to puncture you, so you should be ready for those knocks in your journey when you're
Mm.
trying to build a personality. And what you are online and what you are in real have to go hand in hand. I think I spoke about this
Yes.
earlier also.
That's true.
Otherwise it's a disaster. People always, and if you read sites like Quora, people always want to know how is this celebrity in real, how is MS Dhoni in real, for example.
Mm.
So
Correct.
most of the he is the same. What you see on screen in all his media interviews and other events, or on the ground, he's the same. He doesn't have any airs. For other celebrities, oh, that person is such a snobbish person.
Mm.
He speaks very nice, but you try to go and take a selfie, he behaves very rudely.
Mm.
Got it? So that
Very.
kind of anomalies, people will not like it, because
That's
you
true.
know they don't like that kind of aberrations, right? So you have to be very careful in your journey.
Yeah, if we narrow down this to the professionals actually who are pursuing their growth in cybersecurity,
Hmm.
they are the people actually. What do you think can leverage their performance in building personal brands? What they should do on these platforms, or you think, being a cybersecurity professional, what I should do that allows me to build myself as a personal brand? What new I can implement while sharing my informations, or you can say having events or talking to people? What could be that those key ingredients from your end?
See, you can share your expertise without sharing sensitive or confidential stuff. What's going on in your company, right?
Okay.
So, like what your chief prob is doing, you can share a lot of knowledge articles. You can share a lot of experience from your role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you can always share anecdotes and
Okay.
make things easier for people to understand. Very tough technical stuff you can translate into easy to understand concepts, so that way you build yourself as a thought leader. Now how
Okay.
to complement this is you go on to webinars, you speak to people, you
Mm.
you know the viewers who are viewing this, they can build a persona that they are actually sharing their experience and expertise to the larger world, right? By participating in webinars, participating in industry conferences or security meetups. Every city, major city today has a security community like B-Sides,
Yes.
Cloud Security Alliance, Nullcon, anything, OAS. So any of these communities, they can volunteer and then they can go and speak. So that way you build your own sphere of influence. People look up to you, and then
Mm.
slowly you get on to bigger platforms, right?
Okay.
So that this is for people who are really, really outgoing. This advice will not work for everyone. People
Mm.
who are looking to build personal branding is not personal branding is not for everyone. Let us be very clear, right? Somebody who's not interested, what you can do, you cannot push every cybersecurity professional to have a personal branding unless they
Absolutely.
have that mindset and that ambition that they want to build a personal brand for themselves and they want to
Mm.
do things. Start with a blogging site for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And write articles. Don't write directly in LinkedIn because anybody can copy it. Whereas in a blogging site, it is always, it is yours. It has a timestamp, date stamp,
Mm.
and stuff like that. But of course, in today's terms, it's very easy to copy, right? And build some expertise for yourself, a go-to person. So that
Okay.
go-to person, people have to look up to you as a go-to person means you should be super strong in that area, right?
Okay.
And they should start calling you and be very extremely grateful for every opportunity you get. You may become a very big name in the industry, a very
Mm.
big celebrity, but without humility, being grounded and being grateful, if you try to act smart or any inconsistencies will not go well, right? So something like honoring commitments, honoring
Mm.
the time commitments. You
Mm.
say you join at 11:15, but you don't show up at all. Okay, you
Okay.
say you come for an event, but you don't turn up at all. You are
True.
invited as a speaker, but last minute you call up and say, I have an emergency. Unless
Okay.
it's a genuine emergency, real emergency, you cannot avoid. But if you have the habit of, playing fast and loose, that's not going to help. So these small building blocks are very important. Being
Okay.
punctual, being honoring commitments, coming across as genuine, being helpful, being grateful, and being humble, right? So these are all the building blocks when you go as a public personality. You want to establish yourself as a thought leader. I've seen people who talk very well on the stage, but when you try to get closer to them, they try to push you back and they are very snobbish attitude they have. There are
Okay.
people who will be talking to you very nice, and the next meeting, next time you meet them, they act as if they don't know you. So I don't know
Okay.
what goes on their mind, why they are like on and off, why they are not consistent. You ignore me, fine, but one time you speak to me nice, the other time you don't. And there are people who come for a reason, season. Okay, there are people for a reason. They are friends for a season, and they are there only for some benefit out of you. After that, otherwise you don't see them at all. So again,
That's
that is a very disappointing thing, but that's the way world works, right? Some people will be extremely nice to you, but after 1 year, they'll not be there for you. They'll be with you, right? So all those
true.
things you should be ready when you are a public personality and you are on this journey,
Mm.
building yourself as a thought leader. All these anomalies will happen. All these awkward moments will be there, but you should know how to handle them, right?
Exactly true.
And a lot of people will try to use you for their personal benefit, so you should
Mm.
know how to figure out why they are approaching you, right? There are a lot of people, see, the moment somebody has say 20,000, 25,000 followers in LinkedIn, every other Tom, Dick and Harry wants to use your popularity for their personal benefit, right?
Perfect.
Whether it is
Perfect.
prep,
Absolutely.
whether it is a event producer or it could be a individual. They like to connect with you, and then immediately they'll say, Ram, I'm in a mission to upskill 1 million cybersecurity professionals. I want people to be digitally safe.
Mm.
Can you please post this message on your feed? Why I would post somebody's message in my feed? Because he
Absolutely.
wants, okay, Ram has got 30,000 plus people who want to do that. So I don't even know that person. Today,
Mm.
whatever I publish, post, I get easily good number of higher, like easily 200, 300 plus, right? 80% of them I never met them, but we have
Mm.
got very good rapport. We still have very good rapport. We talk on call. We get on calls like this, but I never met. They are in Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai. Very rarely we get an opportunity to meet in person. Got it?
Absolutely.
But the rapport is very good. That consistency. they are always there to help. We are connected in WhatsApp, in different groups, right?
Mhm.
So that connect is very important. You need not necessarily meet people, right?
Okay,
I have great regard for Prabnaya. Prab has great regard for me, right? But we never met so far. I really wish we could meet one day,
definitely.
right? But it's a very genuine concern we have for both, and we really respect each other, have high regard for each other. So
That's
that's what matters, right?
You really, it was very nice. I mean, you just ended up in a very fine way, I must say. You give an idea how one should focus on not becoming certificate junkie. You given an idea how people should focus on continuous learning, how people us who in cybersecurity must focus on advancement of the new technologies coming. They should be more focused on securing the new configurations, new growth, new courses, rather than being only following some other people who are actually doing the same thing. Keeping in their passion in their mind, it is very much important to also focus on getting some mentorship. That's how you can do yourself into a core technical growth personality in cybersecurity. Apart from that, it's also very important how you develop your personal branding, which you have explained in a very nice way. You explain it how we can do a lot of new things in built in ourselves to make ourselves a new professional personality where we can get a good network, where we have a good networking. Along with this networking, along with this personal branding, it is also important to empowering others as well, because then people get to know that your real agenda is to explore the world of knowledge and also passing the same thing to other people. Along with that, there's one thing very fine we got to learn from you, that I think it's very common for everybody, but yes, do it plays a great role in terms of cybersecurity. Whatever you are doing online presence, that also meets your offline presence as well. Then it will make a great uh, cohesive combination of you being right at both the places. Along with that, the fatigue which right now we are actually looking about, the data and the information are getting pursued over the digital transform, it is not always required. The physical interaction is also needed. You should visit the people, talk to people, and make your presence more better. That's how you can transform your future in cybersecurity, with core technicality, with core human behavior, and developing yourself as a brand as well. I mean, it's very nice and very wonderful. I would give my keynote closing with this. I have been with wonderful time with you, with Dr. Ram, today. I mean, this is very wonderful
Sure.
session. I learned a lot of from you. But with this is
Thank
one
you.
thing came into our mind, and I wanted to make this session end with that only. That we, when we look at transformation leadership in cybersecurity, we have seen the lessons come from the new trailblazers actually. And when we talk about, there's a few people, I would surely take their name as well. That there is one we call Rinki Sethi, who revolutionized
Yeah,
the Twitter's
I
platform on
know
X.
this.
Apart from that, we have something very famous about somebody from Cisco. We know about the Helen Patton is there, who reshaped the entire security leadership positions for the people. And how can we forget about the security princess of Google, the Parisa Tabriz, who actually changed the browsing security in the very nice way. And we can never forget in this list about the Nicola Balthaw, who just investigated the cyber threats and attacks actually going to be happen in Jerusalem. While we're talking about the name, I think you have analyzed that I was only talking about the women leaderships right now. I think this could be the next phase of understanding the women empowerment and the women emplacement, on the women empowerment of the leadership quality they have actually brought in terms of cybersecurity. And this could be a great a point to end this session, and we would surely bridge this discussion the same way how the new leaders, the new women leaders, the new women empowering power we are actually looking in the society, they are coming and they are making people understand that their contribution has also played a great role on that. We would surely love to have a view of yours on these as well. I think, but we are rushed by
Sure.
time for sure. We'll add more to these topics. This will be the next step to the next episode. We will bring with Dr. Ram on understanding about how these ladies have actually impacted great in cybersecurity, also in the leadership positions. It was wonderful having you, Dr. Ram, with us today, and
Sure, my pleasure. No, no.
it was. I will. We will be very glad to have more and more with us. If you wanted to add anything on your keynotes closing, it'll be very nice, and then we can wrap it up.
Thanks, Anas, for the wonderful summary. I'm really, grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to share my views and thoughts. It was a very fun discussion I had. I think I'm sure it must be useful for all our viewers of this podcast.
Yes,
And
of
of
course.
course, it's a long journey, a lifelong journey to learn. I'm also a student. I'm also a keen learner, right?
Mhm,
So, to close, my concluding remarks would be that always keep learning, have
mhm,
a passive learning, if not active at least. And learning is growth, learning is for life, and learning transforms you. The moment you stop learning, the moment that's a time when you actually stop growing, especially in a domain like cybersecurity, which is super dynamic every moment. Things change very rapidly. It's very important that you put on your learning hat all the time and keep yourself up to pace so that you are relevant to your organization you
mhm,
work for, to the clients you serve, and to yourself. Because if you don't learn, you become stagnant. And it's all about growth, how we evolve as individuals, as
mhm,
professionals, as human beings. So for that, learning is important. And for
thank
all
you.
the folks who are uh, aiming high, want to become entrepreneurs, that's a very good goal. How long you will keep working in corporate? You want to go beyond corporate? Definitely, you should pursue your passion and become a entrepreneur, either as a startup founder, right? So that means you need to go beyond security. So, do you have any vision or plans to build skills that goes beyond your core competency? So that's the thing you should think through, whether you have the management skills, business skills, are you good at finances, right? So for those who have a long-term ambition, say in few years down the line, you want to be your own boss, then build those skills. If you have to build it through executive MBA or a PG program in management or leadership, do it. This is the time you have to invest in yourself, invest a few lakhs in the 10 months or 12 months that you need to put in for your weekend classes, gain that credential. That will give you a different perspective on cybersecurity. You look at
Absolutely.
it from a management point of view, whether it makes business sense or not to invest in cybersecurity. As techies, we are all very passionate people. We love our tools and we all gung ho about why
Mhm,
this tool is very important for optimizing security. But the same enthusiasm will not be shared by our management
mhm,
because they look at it from a business acumen, their business acumen and business sense. So when you gain this perspective through a executive MBA or a PG program, you will be able to appreciate it, and that's gonna help you in your management leadership journey as well. You can break into management roles, go beyond being a techie. Techie starting is good, but you need to grow. You have to go and grow and evolve. For that, this executive PG would be very helpful. And
absolutely.
also in your entrepreneurial journey, when you're ready to start your own, outfit, this is going to help you. And when you're trying to raise funds, if you have a degree from Ivy League institutions or from the prestigious IIMs and ISB, this is going to be a strong credential when you're trying to raise funds, right?
Mhm,
So for that, you need to prepare today. The best time to prepare is actually yesterday. The second best is today. So don't waste time.
absolutely.
Always keep in mind anything you want to do, in especially you want to achieve something in terms of learning, upskilling. You need to have few things in mind, few qualities or some characteristics in mind. I would say you need to have that interest, passion, opportunity. You need to
Mhm,
have the time. You need to have the environment, very, very conducive environment. And of course, the resources and
mhm,
commitment to see it through. Lot of people come to me for, especially after the COVID, they all try to come because of the lot of layoffs happening. They think PhD, pursuing a PhD is going to get them some safety net. So they want to do PhD. But I always say, be clear why you want to do PhD, then the how would become easy. Without the why being clear, the how is going to be very difficult. And pretty well people join in enthusiasm and drop out quickly, because when the going gets tough, they don't want to continue. So whatever you start, you should know how to complete and have that perseverance to see it through until the end and come out successful, right? So that's my take on this. That's my closing remarks.
Thank you for giving your valuable time today. It was, I mean, amazing, nice. What all the best good words I can use for you. All blessings for our end and InfoSector and family to you. I also to thank to InfoSector for giving this valuable time to both of us to have a discussion on this, where we have actually discussed not our core about the cybersecurity, but discuss about the entire journey one a professional can follow and how he can develop himself from scratch to a leadership position. I ended up my discussion with having with you on the leadership skills of women empowerment. I hope we'll get time from you to have
Sure.
a great discussion on the next episode of this follow through podcast from you, how women empowerment has actually impacted the cybersecurity, because we need to discuss on this part as well. Thank
Sure,
you, Kumar.
absolutely.
We'll be
See you
adding
then.
you soon again. It was having nice.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Good, good, sir. So far so good.
It was good. It was. I mean, for me, it was very nice. If you think it is, you need to bring any feedback, I can add it for the next episode if you wanted to.
No, no, no. It's good. All good. You're a thorough professional. You did a great job. I like the flow of the discussion. We didn't have any major hiccups, except
Yeah,
I got a cough. Had to add some water. Okay, good.
no
Yeah,
problem.
nice.
No problem.
So thanks to Shreya as well. Is she
I'll
around?
ask.
No.
Yeah, I'll ask her to also join the second podcast when we will
Yeah,
be,
yeah, please.
because
Yeah, yeah.
I'm also expecting to add her, because that's how we can make a woman empowerment a little more impactful. We'll add her as
Sure,
well, because as a
definitely.
cybersecurity analyst. But what we can do is this: we can take a quick. If you want to have a lunch break or something, you can have a quick break, so we can again resume at 2 p.m. if you're comfortable on that.
We can
Okay, fine.
plan sometime in the coming week. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
available in the coming week. We'll plan sometime.
okay.
I'll check with,
Well,
I'll connect with Shreya and give
yeah,
my
please. Why?
schedule.
Because I just got an idea while having with you this, that it's better to add Shreya as well in the women empowerment discussion. We'll
Sure.
present, as she has been a very great research analyst in cybersecurity as well, and she has done a great job. We'll add her as well while discussing this topic. We're keeping this very short for 30 minutes only, because there is no much a lot of information is there in that. So we'll keep it
Yeah,
very
yeah.
short, and we can make it in the next week any days whenever you're comfortable for
Sure,
30
sure. We
minutes.
can plan. We can plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, sir. Nice talking to you then. See you
But
then.
you
Bye bye.
wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, please, sir. Take care of yourself, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Bye bye.